Okay, good evening, everybody. Hope you have enjoyed your dinner in the company of friends and colleagues. We actually got through dinner pretty quickly, so I don't know, you might make the eighth inning. So we'll start the awards program, and before we get too far involved in that, I want to just, if I could, and we've served champagne, make a toast to CII and celebrate the legacy of 35 great years, all the accomplishments that CII has made through the volunteer effort, through the professors and the grad students. So let's toast to CII and toast to the next 35 years. I really appreciate everybody being here and being part of this success story. It's one that, as we learned today, is continuing, performing well. And I think it's also due to the dedication of the people that we're awarding tonight. Before we get to the three awards that will be presented on stage, I want to go through just a few awards that are given by our standing committees. And we'll just take a moment to applaud each one. But the outstanding instructor for CII for this year, and this is awarded by the Professional Development Committee, is Dr. Kristen Parrish with Arizona State. The other award that's also given by Professional Development is for the Distinguished Professor. And this winner is Dr. Yongquan Cho from Georgia Tech. The Funded Studies Committee also gives an award for the Outstanding Researcher, and the winner this year that they've selected is Dr. Fernanda Leche from the University of Texas. The outstanding graduate student, and if you were paying attention earlier today, his research team that he was involved with, graduate student at Iowa State, Phil Barutha, just did an amazing job with that team. I don't know how the industry gets the courage to compel the grad student to make the presentation at the annual conference, but Phil did an amazing job. The Implementation Award is given by the Implementation Committee, and for this year, Endeavor Refining was selected for the Implementation Award. For the Performance Assessment Committee, they selected the Construction Owners Association of Alberta. This is one that I'm probably pretty familiar with, being involved with the benchmarking program for a long time, but COA has been an amazing partner for CII for many, many years, and through the benchmarking efforts of COA over really more than a decade, this is definitely well-deserved. So the first award is going to be, this seems like it got a little out of order, but the James B. Porter Jr. Award for Technology Leadership. And this was the highest honor and award that was given by the FIATech organization. And of course, as many of you know, the FIATech was a subsidiary and sister organization of CII, and in January was merged into CII's operations, and so that we're real fortunate to have that technology function at CII now. But wisely, the executive committee decided to retain the award and feature it strongly with as one of the top three awards at the Institute. This year, CII is pleased to present the Porter Award for Technology Leadership to John Fish with Ford Bacon and Davis. So before John comes up to accept his award, just want to make a couple comments. And in 53 years, it's an amazing career. I think as they were developing the technology, John was figuring out a way to implement it. He's represented S&B and Ford Bacon and Davis at CII since 1994. As you saw, the first research team he was on was RT 113. That's the 11th year of CII, so 1994, and many research teams since. But this was the start of a long journey with CII for improving front-end planning, the process that we have today. He served as a guest lecturer for CII Best Practices course at UT. Through Ford Bacon and Davis, he's been instrumental in their implementation of 3D design software on small projects and in their conceptual estimating and their conceptual models for front-end planning. He's assisted the implementation, laser scanning, clash detection, use of tablets. I think if there was a new technology that was coming out, John was trying to figure out how to make it work. As you saw there, history of service with the military and using Osborne computer to do various tasks with the Army. Ultimately, some of those things found their way into systems at S&B related to document management. He's a change agent through his company and through the industry. He's been a mentor to many people inside of CII. Personally, I've always found him to be, really incredibly supportive, always positive, always happy, always smiling. His wife's with us today, so maybe she'll invalidate what I just said. But I've never seen him. I've never seen anything other than that. Incredibly giving of his time and energy, especially for his colleagues, especially for people in the industry and the young people in this business. Dane Parker said this morning that being a millennial isn't an age as much as a state of mind. And I was talking to Pete DeMont earlier, and he said, well, that means that's John Fish. He's a millennial because it's a state of mind, and he's one of the brightest thinkers and brightest voices around in our industry. So I think this is extremely well-deserved award. And John, if you wouldn't mind joining us on stage. We're going to take a picture, I think. Thanks. Go say a few words, or are you okay? Okay, all right. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Is that okay? Okay. Congratulations again, John. Well deserved. So our next award is the Richard L. Tucker Leadership and Service Award. This award recognizes an individual who's contributed significantly to the advancement of CII's mission and the success of CII as an organization. It's named in honor of Richard Tucker, who personally led the effort to create CII in the first place in 1983, and he was the first director of CII for 15 years until 1998. It's an honor to present the 2018 Tucker Award to the University of Texas, Bill O'Brien. Well, I think we're going to show Bill's video in a second, but first, let me just say, Bill's been associated with CII for 13 years, ever since he came to the university, and maybe even before that, but his leadership, his vision, his hard work and dedication have been instrumental to CII helping research its goals. He's been supportive of the current mission. He's done all kinds of different things, and I'll give you a brief synopsis of that in a second. But he also recently completed a term as the interim director and transition manager for the FIATech organization. I feel that his leadership was absolutely pivotal in the facilitation and kickoff of the two technology committees inside of CII, and I don't think that transition would not have been anywhere as successful as it has been without Bill's involvement. I should mention he devoted a significant amount of his personal time to ensure that this effort was a success. And if you're not real familiar with academics, most faculty are graded on teaching, research, and service. And there are awards for those things, but the service category typically is the one that, it's there, but faculty are generally rewarded more on publishing and getting research dollars and doing their research and their teaching. And Bill's somebody that excels in all three. And I think that the fact that he devoted this much time to make sure that the transition to technology into CII was so successful really means a lot to this organization, to me, to our executive committee, and I know to you, the members of CII. I'd say over a period of about 20 months, Bill and I worked a lot of hours to make sure that FIATech kept operating, kept remaining viable, was meeting its mission, and preparing it to move into CII. And despite everything else going on, Bill really made this a priority. And I think the legacy of FIATech is going to live on inside of CII, and I think it's going to be successful. But in addition to everything I just mentioned, I'm just going to give you some quick highlights of everything that Bill's done for CII. He was involved with research team 233, 244, 258, 283, 300, 310, 319, 272, 330, 344. He's been the academic advisor for about 3 or 4 communities of practice. He's been on the Knowledge Management Committee. He helped us kick off our Power Utilities Infrastructure Sector Committees. He's been the recipient of the CII Award, a technology award for the outstanding career in research. So I really think you can see his commitment to CII, to this organization, really qualifies him and is a very deserving award winner of the Richard L. Tucker Leadership and Service Award. And I think we'll show a video at this point.
Construction is amongst the most complex things that humans actually do. We have so many people involved in projects and so many different firms and organizations with different objectives, different incentives. It's a tremendous exercise to get a project done. And so, my motivation early on and through my career and today really has been to work through the complexity of construction projects and help find systems and ways of making things better, whether it's through information technology, new methods and work processes, or better understanding people. When I returned to academia after a short time in industry, some of my research was among the first in the academic world for construction to actually show the statistical evidence between using IT and having productivity and other good gains on projects. And a large part of that story was actually not just the direct correlation, but to show the work of information technologies and other related systems to enhance work practices, and through those work practices to have the results. And from there, we've moved on into other systems and really how can we better implement things, in which advanced work packaging is one of those. Advanced work packaging to really look at how we can do a better job in the field, and it really grew with better field planning, but then all the way upstream for large capital projects to better integrate the whole of early planning, design, through construction, execution, commissioning, and startup. And when done well, that overcomes the complexity of projects, and we've seen evidence of 25% gains in productivity improvement, 10% reductions in total installed cost. As a researcher working with CII and others, we've really had a chance to focus on bringing that discipline together and putting a best practice and a framework around that to really demonstrate what it should be and provide guidance to the industry, and also to demonstrate to industry that it really does work. We have the case studies, we have the stories, we have the necessary background behind it to give the motivation for the industry to advance. Some of the work that we've done with master's and grad students has been looking at doing visualization for construction projects, particularly for the heavy highway industry, and we were really one of the first people to really help do visualization for large projects. We've helped organizations such as the Texas Department of Transportation do better designs and do better control of their projects through visualization tools. In terms of making a difference, I think it's important that as academics, we realize that we're teachers, we're scholars, but we're also here to serve. And we serve our community, we serve the profession, we serve the public. And doing all of that is really part of that job and a part of what's here in terms of making being a professor, a joy to be here. And doing that is such central to kind of who I am and what I want to be for the person and how I want to see my contribution. I'm Bill O'Brien. I'm a professor of civil engineering at the University of Texas at Austin in the construction engineering and project management program. Here, I'm an educator, a researcher, an author, and somebody who works hard every day to try to make a difference.
Congratulations. Well done. Here you go.
Stephen asked if you want to say a few words. That's dangerous to give that mic to a professor. There's not much to add to that video. I hadn't seen that edit before. And really what I want to say is thank you to all of you here and all of your companies, because CII is a unique thing not only in our industry, but really across any industry. And what we collectively do here to share, to collaborate, and come together in ways that is so important to this industry, but also to society. And just, the only message I would leave with you guys is double down and don't lose what we have here, and continue to make this collaboration of owners, service providers, and academics, continue to invest in that and bring CII to another heights. And so in 35 years, another 35 years will be great. And so thank you to all of you.
Congratulations again. So our final award for this evening's award celebration is the Carroll H. Dunn Award of Excellence. CII established this award in 1985 to honor an individual for significant achievements in improving the engineering and construction industry. And this award is CII's highest honor, and it's recognized as one of the most prestigious awards in our industry. CII is very pleased to present the Carroll H. Dunn Award of Excellence to Melissa Brown Herkt this year. Let me tell you just a little bit about Melissa and why she's so deserving, and I think we also have a video for her as well. But after graduating from Auburn University with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, Melissa joined Exxon's research and engineering company and spent the next 18 years leading major capital projects in the refining, chemicals, mining, and offshore developments that the company was undertaking around the world. Following her extensive career at Exxon, she then served as Vice President of Global Project Management for GlaxoSmithKline, another member company, where she was responsible for capital management, resource management, project manager training and development, project controls, I guess they put a lot in your job description, project management standards, and the delivery of projects. Following her successful career at GSK, she moved to Austin in 2004 to lead the Process Systems and Solutions business unit of Emerson Process Management. She retired in 2012 as President and Chief Operating Officer of the Systems and Solutions Group. And so Melissa was successful at owner companies, at engineering company, at Emerson Process, at a supplier company, also Emerson. Successful in different industry sectors. I think just an amazing career. She currently hasn't slowed down at all, though. She's very involved with Auburn University, and we were talking just a second ago about probably she rolled off about 12 or 14 different committees or roles that she's involved in, and even guest lecturing and helping out at Auburn, where she moved to recently. She is a mentor to the Auburn chapter of Engineers Without Borders and has gone to, I think, Bolivia a few times. She was inducted into the Alabama Engineering Hall of Fame in 2008, the National Academy of Construction in 2009. She's a 2015 recipient of the Auburn Alumni Association Lifetime Achievement Award. She's broadly recognized for her contributions to the engineering and construction industry. Inside of CII, she received our Outstanding Implementer Award in 2004. She's made numerous appearances with CII's Executive Leadership Program and as a guest speaker and a mentor for future industry executives. I'd have to say in my personal career in 2011, when I went through the CII Executive Leader Program, she came and spoke to our class, and I think it was one of the most moving talks, honestly, Melissa, that I've ever heard. Your career, your advice for emerging leaders in the industry, it really touched me, and I remember those things to this day. And when I'm having trouble or things aren't going well, I look back on some of the things that you said, and it really means a lot. Accordingly, she also received the Richard L. Tucker Leadership and Service Award from CII in 2012. She's been a member of CII's Board of Advisors and the Executive Committee and served as the Research Committee Chair. She was also a benchmarking associate, data liaison. She's got an extensive resume inside of CII, but also the conference chair in Chicago, I believe, in 2010. So her career and countless years of service to CII and to the wider industry make us quite proud and to present Melissa with the Carroll H. Dunn Award of Excellence this year. So please join me in thanking her.
There is no way under the sun that I would be anything close to what I actually am today without Auburn.
Melissa Herkt graduated from Auburn in 1977, having come from a small family background. She came to Auburn with a desire to see the world and a love for engineering.
I have to say my mother instilled a passion for going and seeing the world in me. You know, it was like join the Navy, see the world kind of thing. I joined Exxon and saw the world. And I think I was influenced by my dad because he was a draftsman in a civil engineering company based in Atlanta, but they had an office in Gadsden, which is where both my parents were from.
Melissa is proof that the co-op program at Auburn can and does lead to great things.
I needed financial help to go to university, and Auburn found a way to offer that to me. Combining co-oping, where I could work and save money, and then be able to go to school and focus on my studies while I was at school because I had saved and because I had scholarship money was incredible for me. I left Auburn without debt.
Being the first female co-op student at Auburn, Melissa then went on to become the first female engineer posted overseas by Exxon. This position led her to set up several billion-dollar operations in both North and South America. She did this with humility, hard work, and a few tests along the way.
I have a really clear memory of being a co-op student at Alabama Power and going into a coal-fired power plant the first time. And there's always a section of the plant that the men will walk you across to see if you're afraid of heights, because there'll be a section of grading that'll shift. And honestly, I was terrified because in a power plant, it's just grading. You can see from the top 7 levels down all the way to the bottom floor. And when that piece of grading shifts, you think, oh my God, here we go. But I think the key is, 1, to take the initiation, and 2nd, not to let people know you're afraid, and 3rd, get over it. If this is what you want to do, you got to get over it. think the first time I really thought about it was a field experience as a co-op at Alabama Power. There's a gentleman there named George Howard who was well older than my parents were, so maybe even close to a grandparent age person to me at 19. And we went out to survey one day up at the Gorgas power plant. And we drove up there, and he said, co-op has to carry the transit. And I said, okay. So I get it, get it up on my shoulders, and here we go, tromping through the woods. And we had stopped at a quick shop, and he said, we're gonna smoke cigars to keep the mosquitoes out of our nose and ears and eyes. And I said, okay. So we go out with a Swisher Sweet, cost a nickel, and the transit, and tromp out through the woods. And we did our work. We got back to the car, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We put the stuff in the car, and he walked around and opened the door for me to get in. Now, what a message is that to a 19-year-old? You can be an engineer, you gotta do the work, you gotta make your place, but you can still be a young lady. And what a precious gift that was for him to do that. And I think that's kind of colored everything I think about it. And that's what I would tell young women today, that you don't have to give up yourself and who you are and being feminine and perhaps beautiful if you are. But if you want to be an engineer, you got to get the work done. And you got to fit into the environment that you're working in. Actually, I say doing projects is like having babies. I have never had a baby, but it's like having babies, because if you could remember how hard it was after you did it, you would never do it again. But the joy of the outcome erases all of that pain and struggle and all that stuff, and you sign up to do it again all the time.
Throughout her career, Melissa has gained the respect of countless colleagues with her leadership management skills and her ability to put people in positions where they can succeed.
I've known Melissa for approximately 25 years and watched in admiration as she collaborated with, inspired, and led her associates and colleagues to address broad, tough, and complicated organizational, technical, and sometimes politically sensitive challenges and achieve remarkable and lasting improvement results. She has the unique gift of humor, compassion, and team building skills, coupled with intellect, work ethic, integrity, creativity, and determination.
I first met Melissa probably in the midpoint of her career when she was tasked with combining 5 different philosophies, worldwide international companies, into one project management organization with a consistent project standard.
One of my first observations with Melissa is how much she gives back both to Auburn University and to the engineering and construction industry at large. I remember playing golf with Melissa one morning in the mountains north of Phoenix, and I was driving the cart. After bouncing her, or almost bouncing her, out of the cart a couple of times, she looked over at me and said very seriously, "If I die here, my Robert's going to kick your butt."
Melissa Herkt was always the chief morale officer. She was the one with a smile on her face, the twinkle in her eye, the one that kept us on task. I learned so much from her about how to manage complex matters, complex situations, and how to do it with a sense of humor. And Auburn University should be so proud to have someone like Melissa being an alum of Auburn University. She is such a credit in every way to this great university.
There's a difference between motivating people and inspiring people. And there's lots of ways to motivate people, but to inspire them, I believe you have to be inspired yourself. And that comes usually from inside you. And I think, male or female, being able to speak to people in a way that they'll understand so that they want to get on the bus and go on the journey that you're taking is something that's so important. It's so important because in the end, I never picked up a tool on a construction site. Not one. But we got stuff built.
Melissa's list of firsts for women in the world is long, but that fails in comparison for her desire to give back to others.
I really want to have impacted either people or organizations in a way that lasts. But really, I have a debt to repay. And I think that's what's under all of it. To make sure other people have the chance I had. And if one young person is inspired or motivated to do more than they thought they could do, that's it.
Melissa, please join Bill and I up on the stage.
Thank you, everyone. I'm old now, so I have to write things down. And I struggled to get through that video the first time it was shown, and I struggle every time it is shown, because sometimes it just doesn't make sense that that's actually all that's happened. But thank you very much to the executive committee and the staff and all of you for the recognition and making my life as a construction guy so rewarding. My dad is 89. He couldn't travel. He didn't feel like he could travel, but I have today Derek Dixon from Auburn University, who's my designated family member today. Derek, thank you for being here. I mentioned Robert in the video, or Wayne Crew mentioned Robert in the video. Many of you would have met him at these events because he came with me and he enjoyed them. He was my coach. He was my cheerleader. He was my supporter. He was willing to go wherever I wanted to go to reach my full potential. Next Monday would have been 30 years for us as a husband and wife. He's been gone 4.5 years now, and I miss him every day. But he is smiling from heaven today and doing something like this. And sitting right next to him is my mom, who encouraged ambition and a belief that not even the sky was the limit for whatever I chose to try to do. So I owe all of them quite a lot. When I got the call from Stephen, I think I said something like, "Oh, that's not right." Because in my mind, so many people that I've admired for my entire career have gone before me in this award, and I had a sense of not belonging, and I think most of us that are awarded things think, really? But as I look back, it actually has been quite a long journey in the E&C industry. It's been kind of fun, I have to admit. And as I think about it, I think about oil and gas industry. I think about a supertanker. And when you try to alter the course of a supertanker, either stopping or turning, it really is a gradual process, and it takes quite a while. And it's only when you look back at the prop wake that you can see where you've come from and the progress that you've made. So it's been a pretty long journey, and from that girl in Alabama, yeah, maybe so, but I still don't think I belong in the same category as some of these other folks, but I really appreciate this. I would encourage all of you not to forget to look at your own prop wake of your own supertanker, particularly if you're frustrated at the pace of how things are going for you. If you look back, you may be surprised how far you've already come. I found a quote on the internet that's attributed to St. Jerome, and it said, "Good, better, best, never let it rest, till your good is better and your better is best." And I thought, wow, that's CII, y'all. Wow. And The other thing that I think it was actually mentioned in the video, I've always heard that there were three things that motivate people: money, power, and status. And those never really worked for me. So I did a search, and I found another article by a person named Sean Lim, who wrote an article, "What Motivates You in Life? The 6 Common Factors That Drive People." Number 1 was money and rewards. Okay, makes sense. The second one was desire to be the best, and most athletes fall into this category. The third one was helping others, and philanthropists fall into that category. The fourth was power and fame. Think politicians. The fifth was recognition, and the item quoted was Lee Iacocca, who was fired at Ford and went on to lead Chrysler to great things, just to prove Ford was wrong. The sixth was passion. And it's interesting because so many people don't actually have passion, but the ones that have passion succeed in spite of other things that might be missing in their resume. But actually, none of those is the thing for me. As I matured in my profession and thought about it, it became leaving a handprint on things, making a difference that lasts, and being remembered when I'm gone by my grandchildren and my family, by Auburn and the students there, by the companies where I worked, and now at this great organization. I really so appreciate being remembered in this way, and I feel so honored and so special today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa, and again, congratulations. Congratulations to all our award winners. And thank you all for being here tonight for this special occasion. Really appreciate your attendance. And I think that pretty much concludes what we're here. You don't have to all run off. Certainly, you can continue conversing with your colleagues and friends and others, or you can go see the baseball game. Actually, there's a good view from out there. And I think tomorrow breakfast begins at 7 and the program begins at 8. So I think I have that right, yes? Okay. So we'll look forward to another exciting day tomorrow, and thanks again, and hope you have an enjoyable rest of your evening.